Hello and welcome. I'm Rebecca, the Route 66 Stitcher. Welcome to my FlossTube channel. This is FlossTube number 2. So my second foray into the world of YouTubing myself. For those of you who have been here before, thank you so much for coming back. And for those of you who are new, thank you for stopping by. My channel is mainly about cross-stitching. I do other types of decorative embroidery as well, but the majority of what I do is actually cross-stitch. So without further ado, let's get into it for today. I do have a couple of fully finished objects to show you. First on the list this is Lesley Teare's SAL. It was Birds and Blackwork SAL of 2020 that I participated in. It's actually, this is a Mystics Fabric Ada, I want to say Fabrics Game Ada, and the colors are actually, the majority of them are the called for, with the exception of a few orangey colors that I had to convert just to go with the pink fabric. I actually finished this into a project bag because I really didn't know what else to do with it. So that actually happened yesterday. I find myself sometimes at a loss as to what to do with these larger things that I don't know how many pillows I really do need to make. So I just thought this would be a great project bag. I did actually use the opportunity to change out a lot of the French knots into beads, so there's a lot of beading on here that maybe it's not coming up, and of course capper. Hold please. So yeah, I love the colors. This was actually done with, she designed this with a substantial number of the new colors, the 1 through 35. And it was the first time I'd seen anybody use the colors in a pattern design. And again, I'm kind of a sucker for a multi-modality pattern that has cross-stitch and something else with it. So there you go. And I just had the pattern, I just had all of this fabric someplace on my shelf. So fully finished object number 1. Number 2, I'll talk a little bit about my experiences at Galleria and some of the drama of trying to get home from there. But there was a major accident on the highway, the interstate coming home, that actually forced me and probably 10,000 of my closest friends and neighbors who were also on the interstate to exit the highway and actually drive Route 66, which runs parallel to the highway. And I actually used the opportunity to stop into because it was really heavy traffic, used the opportunity to stop in some of the small towns and go through the antique stores and some of the thrift stores that were there and get some lunch. Didn't stress it too much. But came across this particular piece of embroidery at a thrift shop. It is falling apart. You can see, let me see if I can get this up, because you can see parts of it, like right there in the corner here. Nope. Boop. There. That is not actually a stitch. These 2 stitches right here are actually just where the material was stained. The actual thread itself is falling apart in places. I don't know if you could see that. So mainly what you're seeing is a lot of the black thread just it has stained the material. I actually kind of rescued it. I thought it would make a really good project bag. So it's a project bag. And I tried for the first time that fusible press-on vinyl that you can get at Joann's or Michael's or wherever you buy your supplies, and see if I couldn't cover that up. And it actually worked quite well. I think it's actually going to hold up. You can tell that there's press-on vinyl. I don't know what I'm doing with the press-on vinyl. Not a pro. Probably could have worked a little harder to make it not look as milky around some of the heavier stitching, and actually spent more time pressing on the vinyl around those particular areas. But it's certainly going to be hold up to the use of just as a project bag. And then I just finished with my Route 66 fabric that I have. So there we go. 2 fully finished objects, one of which I didn't even stitch myself. I just found in a fortuitous moment and decided to liberate it from where it was. Okay, I did go back to Needlework Galleria. I was at Needlework Galleria. I treated myself, hadn't traveled in quite some time because apocalypse, and treated myself to the Galleria because it was also my 60th birthday. And I figured if my 60th birthday is within these dates, then you know something, that's only something that happens once. I'm going to go to Galleria. And when I was at Galleria, I took a class in punch needle, and one of my finished objects, not fully finished objects, is the project called Stargazing from my punch needle class. And that ended up like this. So, true story, I'm old, not gonna lie, old. I did find out that the project I took to do as my travel stitch, I can no longer see without my odolites and my magnification. This is the first time I've not been able to see something without all of that, and it was kind of humbling. But you don't really need to be able to see well in order to do punch needle, and that was the great and forgiving thing about it. So that's how that actually ended up being completed into a finished piece. The other thing that is a finished piece for me, and I have to admit that this whole floss tube thing as accountability is working out well so far, is the Durene Jones Butterfly Biscornu that I was working on, that I had to change fabric on because I was using the wrong size fabric and so on and so forth. I actually have completed both the front and the bottom of that Biscornu. Now I have all of the needle wrapping done. I have all of the, hang on a second, let me, needle wrapping done. I have the wool in the back. I have the beads on. So that's the top, and there's the bottom. And I just used some orange wool that I found at my local wool shop in the scrap bin, and all I have to do is actually cut these out and sew them together now, and it's good to go. So I was able to get this completed and all that needle weaving done. So I'm feeling really good about that, not gonna lie, really good. So another Christmas thing on the list that is off of the list. Unfortunately, that was pretty much one of my only whips, along with the 2021 Peppermint Purple Blackwork SAL that I've been working on. The last time I showed you this, I had 2 weeks out of the 40 that have been released completed. I now have 13 weeks completed. So I am making progress. This again is with the Treenway silks that I'm using. And it's coming along nicely. There are parts of it where it looks like there's not stitching. That is actually, it shows up better in person. It really does. But where it looks like there's not stitching, that's actually the silver part of the variegated thread. And it's actually coming up quite nicely in person. It just doesn't show well on video for some reason. And so that was it. The Biscornu and the Blackwork project were the only ones that I was working on in terms of whips. And quite honestly, I don't want to start anything else right now because I do have items that need to be finished before Christmas. Like the Biscornu, I need to get that completed. I have a couple other things that I've been working on that are completed. I just need to get them in a finished modality here. So let's go back to haul. Yeah, I have a ton of haul. Not gonna lie. I took the punch needle class and purchased, I didn't really need another hobby, but purchased another punch needle to do, Quilting Bee. And Quilting Bee is from Heart Creek Farms Creations, and it also, here we go. I have a friend that is a huge big time quilter, and she is absolutely going to love that. So I purchased that for punch needle, and then I got Petal Pusher, Pick Your Own Pumpkin, and these actually just finish as small little pin cushions or ornaments, and they're really cute. Continuing in the theme of punch needle, when I was at that antique shop where I found that embroidery piece and some other things I'll show you at some other point in time, I found a book called A Passion for Punch Needle. This was in 2006 publication, and it cost $22 back in 2006, and it's really nice, very glossy. But there are several projects. Let me see if I can. Come on, camera. Several projects. I like the snowman. I thought would be good. I thought that there's the bunnies down in the corner, the pumpkin that I've got a finger over right here. So there's several items in here to be done. Look at the names on this. Linda Stoltz for that beach crab basket topper. People mainly know her as the designer behind Erica Michaels Designs, the Strawberry Lady. Brenda Gervais, Thy Needle and Thread. There's some heavy hitters in terms of designers in this book, and it was $4. I didn't even haggle for it. I was like, I'm going to punch at least a couple of things out of that, so definitely worth the price. So what else did I do at Galleria? I took another class, speaking of Erica Michaels. I took a class in how to finish berries with Linda Stoltz. And it's called Very Berry. It came with all of the wool and how to do stuff. It's actually several pages long in this folder. And within that class, she also gave us a free pattern fall into autumn berry. And so that's going to be a fun project. And I took the class mainly because I had actually purchased a berry, I want to say a couple years ago, at a local needle store when I was out traveling around, and had no idea what to do with it. And I wonder if this is going to show without me opening it. Probably not. Sorry for the crinkle. Should have thought better. But while I was there in her suite, I had bought the Life is Better Meow. It's just the Meow the Merrier collection. It just came out. Life is better with a cat. So, not gonna lie, I have purchased a shameful amount of the Meow the Merrier patterns. Shameful amount. All right. The third class that I took was a class by Julia of J Designs in beginning hardanger, which was interesting. A lot of people call it hardanger. My grandmother, when she taught me, always called it hardanger. So I don't know if it's a potato thing, but yeah, minor detail. So I took a beginning class with her, and it's going to be this round tin, but it's going to be a pincushion. And she had actually finished the inside with the ruching and the padding and the material. And then there's the top of it, it already has the magnet for the, yeah, she gave us everything in bags. All of it, she handmade all of these bags to match the fabric. And so this is the top that actually attaches to the magnet, and this is what you mount the fabric and the padding to make it a pincushion. And all the pearl cottons. And it's what I learned how to do. We spent time on cluster blocks, picots, and dove's eyes. So, which is all that's needed for this pattern. So that was fun. I do have to give a shout out to her. She is by far the most generous person on earth. She is retiring from designing and doing shows. This was her last show. Her husband has retired and they're going to start traveling, and she wants to become one of us. She wants to do floss tube. She just wants to go to these shows and stitch and just not have to worry about running a shop. And so she had closeout specials going on items in her shop, not only that she had for her shop, but also some of her own personal items she was destashing. And I purchased grab bags. I got a grab bag of linen, a grab bag of buttons and finishing items, a grab bag of the take a risk, and then a grab bag of miscellaneous supplies. I spent a lot of time going through the grab bags. And this is actually all of the buttons and charms, tons of charms and buttons. All of this was like $5, I think. Made with love charms, little spools for finishing, heart pins, pumpkins, buttons. Look at these birdhouses. These are actually ceramic and hand painted. the moon and stars, necklace, bunnies, some wool and assorted charms, and then a needle minder. So all of this was in a grab bag for $5. And it was a brown paper bag that you couldn't see through. I mean, it basically just said buttons and finishing items. And voila. And then I got another grab bag on threads and floss. It was this. And I think this one was also maybe $10. I don't remember. Anyways, look at all this Krennic. Look at all of it. All of it. Treasure braid. All of it. I cannot show you enough of all of this. Silk. Tons of silk in here. More treasure braid and blending filaments. Just, I was literally crying in my room when I got back and I started unpacking all of these grab bags. It's like, and that was the first night. That was the first night that I went around and I was like, yeah, no, I'm going to take a risk on this. And I went back the next morning as soon as the shop opened, and I was the first person in the shop, and I'm like grabbing more grab bags. I have a ton of more stuff, but you get the idea. I don't need to show you all of it for you to get the idea. The linen grab bag was to die for. Just amazing. What else do I have from Galleria? So I actually participated in the round robins as well, and I got some really, really cool stuff, and I know that that has already been out on the webs. Everybody's been showing their round robins. I really will have to say that I have a couple favorites that came out of the round robins, and I can't wait to start stitching them. And the first one would have to be ink circles, 2 birds in the hand, and I don't know if this, it looks like this might actually be something that she has for sale at some point. But what I love is not just the pattern, but it comes as a full kit, is look at this fabric that's included for finishing. Is that not like the coolest stuff ever? So yeah, I'm going to be really happy to get started on that. Another, I went to Ink Circle's shop as well and fell in love with, it was a new release for Galleria, and fell in love with this little stinker. It's called Colorful World Striped Skunk. And there's the fabric. And I knew the fabric looked familiar. This is actually a Mystics fabric. Misty dyed this for her for this particular pattern, and that was just everything sliding off of the very small table I have everything on. So Mystics fabric for that, and then a couple of really cool fabrics for finishing, and probably the thing that really makes it is this trim for down the middle. So love this. This is going to be a great, it'll stitch up really quickly. The size on this is 32 by 46, so it will stitch up really, really quickly. And can't wait to get started on that. What else do I have from Galleria? I actually have so much I'm not going to show you. But I did want to talk about the fact that I walked into a room, probably my second day there. I don't think I was actually able to get in the room the first night. And it was just such a lively and fun room. It was very engaging, very fun to be in. Everybody was having a great time. And the thing that drove me in the door to begin with was the rack of dinky dye silks that they had sitting right inside the door. You couldn't miss it. It was just fabulous. And it was like, yeah, no, I need some of that. But I got in there and I found a pattern that I had to have as well. And as I walked through the store, I recognized there's a lot going on. The design company is Meridian Designs, and the designer has actually been very inclusive in her design process. There are every skin tone known to mankind, plus some, probably in alien worlds. Every kind of body habitus represented. Very, very inclusive and incredible designs. I myself am drawn to color and found this Biscornu pattern in there. It's Meridian Designs, Butterfly Biscornu. Come on, focus. And again, very colorful. They had it at the sample on this kind of a bright pale purple background. And so I went ahead and picked this up along with the dinky dyes. I actually did a dinky dye conversion for some of the colors in the silks. There we go. So I'm happy with that. I also picked up their version of Pirate Kitty, the Meow the Merrier. Meridian Designs. I think he's cute. And it actually looks really, really, really cute when stitched up. The sample was incredible. So I was talking to the designer, right, Karen McEwen of Meridian Designers. I was in there and we were talking about the Biscornu, because the Biscornu, the Butterfly Biscornu, was new for her. It was her first design of a Biscornu, and she was really kind of didn't know if people would actually buy it or be interested in it. I'm interested in Biscornus because they're usually very, very small, usually about 60 by 60 normal size if you're not getting the really large ones or the tiny scissor fob ones. And you don't even need a sewing machine. You just whip stitch them together. You don't have to turn them inside out. You just stuff them full of stuff and they're done. And people think you're a genius. People are like, how do you do that? And they're so simple to do. And I was talking to her and she goes, well, are you in the round robin tonight? And I was like, yes, I actually am in the round robin tonight. And she goes, well, then if you really like Biscornus, you're really going to like what we put out for the round robin tonight. And not going to lie, she put out a full kit, not just a pattern, but a full kit of her new Biscornu, Peaceful Pondering. And it's dragonflies on the top, and then butterflies on the bottom. I have a picture I'll insert here of somewheres. I'll insert it somewheres. Maybe in the hippo's mouth. That might be good. Of what this looks like in the sample. And she actually had a special fabric made from Under the Sea Fabrics. Just beautiful. Aqua color. And look at these. They're stunning. And then it's going to have a lot of bling in it as well with beads and buttons and stuff. It's just going to be fabulous when done. And I can't wait to get started on these Biscornus. Cannot wait. Incredibly generous. I will have to say, I participated in 3 out of the 4 3 out of the 4, I think there were 4 Thursday night, Friday night. No, I participated in 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3. There were 3 round robins. I participated in 2 of them. And quite honestly, the level of items that these designers, gave us, all of the kits, and I was blown away by what I received in the round robins, and I have so many more that this video would be 27 hours long if I went through all of the stuff that I got at Galleria and the round robins and some of the purchases I made, so I'm not going to do that to anybody. I did want to talk a little bit about haul that I have gotten. I actually am a member of Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers Silk of the Month Club, and got the September 21 group in while I was actually at Galleria. So this is the Autumn Day series for September 21 from Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. And they look fantastic. Here we go. Just really, and they just feel so good. I love silk. I love silk. Her silks stitch like a dream. They really do. I love their silks. All right, and something else that I got that was not Galleria related is, interestingly enough, my house supervisor has not been by to meet you all, which is very unusual anytime that I'm trying to do something that I don't want to be interrupted. And she actually woke me up in the middle of the night. I want to say like at 2:30, maybe 3 o'clock, and I don't know why she decided it was time for me to be up, but it was one of those nights where I recognized the fact I was not going to go back to sleep. So what I ended up doing was getting up, and I don't know why, but I checked my email, and there was an email there on the Fox and Rabbit Designs newsletter, email, distribution list, and they had just listed some factory seconds. And probably if I had not been up at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning to know that, I probably would not have gotten the one of 5 fabrics that they listed, but I got it. How about that? And I have been through this fabric, all right, not with a microscope or a magnifying glass. I don't see anything wrong with it. I don't know why it's a second. And it's 25 count, so I can stitch over 1 on this. And it's over a yard. I could have 500 projects out of this. Literally 500 projects out of this, if I use it wisely. So I was able to score that from Fox and Rabbit, and I feel very blessed. I have no idea what I'm going to stitch on it. I'm kind of scared. I need to find something that's worthy of the linen. But before we worry about being worthy of that linen, I just happened to be checking my email and found a email that came in out of nowheres, and again covered in cat fur, that they had more. And so about 3 weeks later, I was able to get Beetroot. Again, cat fur. Sorry, that is cat fur. That's not so this is a 40 count Linen in Beetroot. And it is beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. And again, I have no idea what I'm going to stitch in that. Because again, don't want something unworthy of that kind of artistry when it comes to dyeing. So that's pretty much it. I haven't started any new whips. I knew that it had been a goal, but I have actually told myself that I'm not allowed to start any new whips until I get like the Biscornu completely finished. I have some other things that I have finished that have been sitting in the closet for months. Actually, the only thing that I had gotten fully finished for Christmas was the Queen Bee pillow. But I have a whole bunch of other stuff that needs to be completely finished, and I need to get that done before I start anything else. I have the time right now to do that instead of starting something else and getting to the week before Christmas and figuring out that I have to stay up for days on end to get things completed. So my prize, my gift to myself, is starting some of these Biscornus and patterns from Galleria once I get those done. So stay tuned. Thank you for stopping by, checking me out. I do appreciate it. Thank you for those who put comments on my last video. I appreciate all of that as well. And again, have a great day. It's good to see you Floss Tube people. Thank you so much.